metal was exchanged. No contact was made, and
Be strong.
Let go of fear you're holding. The fire smoldering, it's starting all over again. I got a feeling that I ought to know it, burning inside. I got a feeling that I ought to know it, yeah. Every time I grip the wheel, I begin to feel I know what I'm in for. A white knuckle ride. You got a fix for me, you know what I need. Oh, it's a break.
sitting at the corner of 16th Street in Georgetown, about 9 miles north and west of Indianapolis, sits the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the town of Speedway, Indiana. We are officially here. It is the 2 weeks of Indianapolis, as I like to call this, as part of the TI Racing Grublets on Ice IndyCar Series. Today, it is the RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix. It's round number 4 of Season 4 for the TI Racing Grublets on Ice IndyCar Series as we run the Moto Circuit, a 2.59 mile road course as we sit at 75 degrees. Track temp at a balming 110 degrees. Let's see. I saw a picture of Kokomo earlier in real life with 8 inches of snow on the ground. So I don't think it's 75 in Indianapolis right now, but in the sim it is. But we welcome you in to the LMCgear.com broadcast booth. I am the Captain Chris Scala, being joined by a man who, as far as I'm concerned, will never, ever, ever be cut off on a broadcast of mine again. Gary Godso, welcome into the stream, sir.
Well, as palatial studios go, this one is as fine as they can get. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back in Indianapolis. Good to be back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I know very little about this course because, frankly, the cars really don't run here for real. This is kind of a whole new experiment for everybody. I think it's kind of sadistic for our sponsor to schedule this one, but hey, that's our sponsor. So, and I can say that because the man employs me. But it's going to be interesting to watch these cars because it's going to they're going to look normal to you on the straightaways, but then once they hit that infield portion, it's going to be like, what's going on and where are they going? Don't really have much data in the ways of what's a fast lap and who's doing what and not. So everything that we're seeing here is blazing new trails. So stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and the reason why you say that is because when you watch the normal road course race at Indianapolis, they run clockwise. They go down they go north up the front straightaway towards turn 4.
Yeah.
Today they go south like they're running the oval, except you hang a left right before turn 1 into a different turn 1 onto the road course.
And it's a completely odd feeling when you're barreling down that front straight. All you see are just cones kind of directing you where to go, but all the while your mind's like, I need to keep going further and turn later. So the whole learning process for a lot of these guys have been pretty much the same. They said it's all a very surreal process.
Well, let's talk about what we can expect tonight, because these first few corners, not to mention, this is not an upgraded track, because the chicane that you see at the normal Indy Grand Prix, which is out of the turn 2 and 3 section over on the north end of the course, that is still not in iRacing. They still have the old windy S, I guess you can call it, that they used to run in the Formula 1 US Grand Prix back in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. They still have that part of the circuit on here. Not to mention now we have the windy section over near NASCAR 1 that the bikes for the MotoGP run, that's going to make this course different.
Yeah, this will be different. Supposedly, iRacing has said they've scanned the new course. I don't know if that's true or not. That's a constant rumor you keep hearing. The new road course that they do actually run on now actually does kind of have a bit of a portion that turns in and through the turn 1 infield there. Mm-hmm. But it's not this bike course is not quite identical to that new course, but it's very similar.
And that is going to lead us into what is going to be a fantastic race this evening. Let's run through everything that you need to know for the race here this evening as I pull up tonight. Let's start with the race schedule for the season. We are at race number 4 right now. It's the first of 2 weeks here in Indianapolis. Tonight, the RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix. Next week, Gary will be in this one, race number 2 of the Grublets on Ice Captain TV Triple Crown race, the Globex Racing Paints Indy 250 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here. They'll run the Oval and, of course, Mid-Ohio coming up here in just a couple weeks. That is your race schedule. Taking a look at the Pole Awards right now. This is how it looks right now. Ed Kerstetter leading that 2-1 over Eric O'Connor and Dakota DeMed. Dakota looking pretty good. Eric O'Connor looking pretty good this evening. Of course, Ed, you cannot turn your head on because he's only had like one finish outside the top 10, I believe, in all of his starts since he's made his debut in that debut race. You know.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate finish for him at the Oval in Fontana. But other than that, he's been pretty much right there at the end of every single race.
Point standings entering tonight's race. Caleb Bensey, the third point leader in 3 races, leads by 4 right now over Ed Kerstetter. Craig Forsyth, you can call him a little bit of a sleeper so far this season. He is running 3rd, but he's got some stuff that's going to be coming up here in the near future. Not sure if he wants us to share it, so I'm not going to say anything about it right now, but some interesting personal stuff, we'll just call that, like that, coming up here in the near future. So not sure how that's going to affect him in the points right now. But Eric O'Connor, 4th, Dakota DeMed, your top 5. You were going to say?
Yeah, actually, just looking at these guys, all of them have been on it. If Craig's unfortunately got some, he's going to miss some races. That's quite unfortunate. That's a very similar situation we got going on tonight with series regular, and one that we can always count on at the front is Isaac Morris. He is not into this evening's lineup. But if you look at the guys, Caleb, Ed, Eric, Dakota, even as far as sixth place with Cohen, consistent finishes, just consistent finishes. I will say that Dakota has been on a bit of a roll over the last couple of weeks. He did win the Milwaukee Velocity Online Racing on Saturday. So once you get a little winning in the blood, it tends to be contagious. And I would not be unexpected at all to see Dakota have an extraordinarily good race tonight at Indianapolis.
And you see in the team point standings, TI Racing leading right now by 7 over the RaceVerse Sunset Arctic Games team. 18 back is the LMC Gear Racing team, ETA there, P4 on the grid. And let's go see if he is here. I believe Matt Houston will be joining us. I think I'm in the wrong. Yeah, there I am. Let's see. I don't know if Matt's going to talk to us or not, as he's out there qualifying. He's not up here in the waiting room. You know what? I'll pull him up here real quickly anyways, and see if he wants to talk to us quickly about this. Matt, you good to talk, or are you qualifying?
I'm done qualifying.
You done qualifying? All right. No, I just figured to bring you up here real quickly. Is RaceVerse sponsoring the race tonight? Obviously, we're thankful to have you as part of the broadcast and stuff like that. Let's talk about RaceVerse, though. For those who don't know, RaceVerse is pretty much the same as Captain TV. You guys go out there and broadcast races, but you're more on the sports car side and the open wheel side. Talk a little bit about your company there.
Yeah, that's right. We're broadcasting the Schaefer Turbo and Cup Series. That's an IndyCar series. Mm-hmm. We also do the Tuesday Night Thunder. That is a PM18 series, like Road to Indy kind of cars. And then we do a BMW sports car series on Thursdays as well. And, of course, we have the team here in TI Racing as well as other leagues like Velocity Online Racing League. And a big thing coming up is we're going to be fielding 2 teams in the Lionheart Speedway series.
Nice.
So, yep.
Yeah, that's a very distinct honor. Lionheart, arguably, obviously TI Racing is on their way up there, but Lionheart probably been the longest running active league on iRacing as far as I know, IndyCar wise. They have multiple series out there and so many things, so that's definitely a cool honor about that. But let's talk about what you got going on here, because you have the point leader, not only that, but the champion in the number 1 car. Caleb Bensey's been doing a great job for your team this year. Talk about him and how he's done so far.
Yeah, Caleb's doing a great job for the team. We're going to try to keep him at the front of the points. He's the defending champion, so he's running that number 1. Always tough to repeat, especially when you change over that number 1 car. But we are also trying to win this points championship for the team as well. That's a pretty good fight, though, with TI Racing there at the front.
Well, that is going to be a fun battle, of course, as you work your way up through that. How are you feeling about tonight's race?
We will see. I was fortunate to be the one that actually picked this track. Since I was the sponsor. I don't know if it's a popular track or not and how it'll race. We will see.
I told you who was responsible.
That's right. I also noticed as the broadcaster that it only has 1 set of TV cameras, so good luck with that.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I have the secret trick that I learned where I can just combine all 3 camera sets into one, so we work it out.
Yeah.
And not that I just shared my secrets with everybody, but no, it should be an interesting race, as Isaac Morris just joined, by the way. Breaking news there.
Yeah, that's the
Right,
news flash right there,
Yeah.
as well as Julian Altena. So last 5 minutes of qualifications, we had some last-minute ads. Some people pulled out the T-cars.
Isaac Morris pulling the Royal Rumble move on the field here. But it should be a fun race tonight.
My God!
You got to be kidding! No, but Matt, we wish you the best tonight, man. Real quickly, you mentioned the series. You got any big-time special events coming up here that you guys will be covering, or is it pretty much just regular?
We're going to be winding down with the Schaefer's Cup and Turbo Cup, big championship there. Caleb is also leading that one too, but he's got Dakota and Alex and kind of the regulars here. Several of them run over there as well. So good championship over there that we're broadcasting. And Gary joins us for those too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are fun.
And the link is down at the bottom of the YouTube info there. If you click on RaceVerse.com, you can get to the website and check out all the cool stuff you guys got going on. Matt, we'll let you go get ready for the race. Go get a quick drink of water, whatever you might need, and we wish you the best of luck, brother.
Thanks, and have a great broadcast.
Hey, thanks, man.
See
You
you,
do
man.
the same.
Good luck.
That is Matt Houston, of course, driver of the number 66 RaceVerse car. Right now, he is P5 on the grid.
Yep, P5 at a 123.464. Not too bad.
Oh, he moved himself for me. Appreciate that, Matt. Always helps me a little bit. Our viewers keep
And
it.
the interesting thing about Matt is he's parked it, so he is pretty much done with qualifying. So he's apparently pretty happy with that lap.
And, of course, we got awesome viewers watching us tonight. They're yelling at me already about taking the point standings down. I'm like, hey, I'm slacking. Don't mind me over here. But, like I said, I'm still going to fire the producer sometime. I just don't know when.
Well, I'll tell you what, that team championship is pretty darn exciting. The past couple of years here in TI, it's been kind of a one-team runaway. It's been
Right.
an LMC gear type league the last couple of years. To see 3 teams as part of that, that's pretty exciting, and that means new names and new faces that you're seeing at the top of the standings.
Oh, absolutely. And you got, so many talented drivers as part of these teams. I mean, I've mentioned the last few weeks, it seems like every year I'm looking up there at LMC Gear at the top, and I'm like, all right, who's going to beat these guys? And this year it's like TI Racing and a couple of these teams like ETA's come in, and they're being very competitive, and you get a good group of competitive drivers out here. You're going to put on a pretty good show for these people, so it's definitely very exciting, I should say, to be a part of this. But I don't know, Gary, I was thinking about this a little bit during the interview. I'm watching these cars. They're 6 gear down to turn 1. And turn 1 almost, take out the banking, mimics, oh my gosh, and Julian Altena's going wild down the back straightaway, just did like 3 tumbles. It just came on my screen. You'll see it. But
Car's destroyed.
yeah, that car's bad. Anyways, they're going to be wide open so about midway into that corner to set up to turn number 2. So this start is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I expect to see the, unless you give the car in front of you quite a bit of room, I expect to see the accordion effect big time because that is a very fast left-hand sweeper going into a very tight and slow right-hander. And they need to be pretty much single file by that point because that right-hander turns into another right-hander into a very tight left-hander. And it's all slow at that point, so they cannot be running up on each other. And it's also a little bit of a weird, when they rejoin the banking, the cars will actually not be on all 4 wheels at all moments of re-entering that banking. They'll actually be on 3 wheels at one point. So the cars will be a little off balance at that point too. So pressure of getting back on the gas to get going might cause some cars to come around at that point just because of the, once again, the lack of adhesion that they're going to have because the camber is upsetting that car.
So one thing I should mention also to add to that comment there I wanted to say, Gary, is turn 1, I've noticed the cars are bottoming out over in that section. So when they go into that corner, you're going to hear, and maybe times when we're on board somebody, you might hear a scraping noise. And that would be the car bottoming out in turn number 1. So that is going to be very interesting as we get ready to wrap up qualifying real quickly. And I do want to give them another mention really quickly, but RaceVerse is the sponsor of tonight's RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix. And if you're looking for an iRacing broadcaster for that sports car, open wheel league, or one-off event, RaceVerse specializes in broadcasting IndyCar and Formula-style racing, as well as sports car and prototype racing. Visit RaceVerse.com to check out previous broadcasts and send them a message using their contact form and let them know what you're looking for. Also, you can click the link down there at the bottom. It has RaceVerse on the screen, and on the link down there. You can click on that and go check out RaceVerse's website. And also, while you're there, you can check out LMCgear.com. See, now we get the computer fixed. Now we got to fix the broadcaster. LMCgear.com for all your camping and motorcycle needs, of course, as we broadcast from the booth. So, a little bit different way of showing the starting lineup. If you've watched the broadcast the last couple of nights, you'll know that now I have something that goes across the top of the screen that shows the starting lineup for tonight's RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix. Eric O'Connor going to be on the pole. Ed Kerstetter, he's keeping that momentum up. Gary, going to start their P2.
Yeah, starting third, we'll have a man on the hot streak, as I mentioned. Dakota May is starting third at a 122.970. You got the defending champ wearing the number 1 placard, Caleb Bency at a 123.252. The boss man, Matt Houston, at a 123.464, so he was very happy with that lap. He did not move. He stayed fifth. Alex Vandesant, you can always count on him at the front, starting sixth at a 123.511.
Yeah, the 27 of Craig Forsyth going to start 7th inside of teammate Cohen Evans there in row number 8. Cody Claiborne going to start 9th alongside of Dan Morera. Tom Carpenter, the other ETA Racing driver in the field tonight, starts 11th next to Shane Coogan. Jim Herrick, the 23 car, going to start next to, it's funny, I say Florida's Justin Miller, but when you look at the texture on here, I'm going to pull it up on the screen real quickly here. Bada boom. It says he's from Mishawaka, Indiana, on the hometown. So I'm like, is he a Floridian or is he a Hoosier? I'm confused here, but I'll figure that one out after the race. Julian Altena will start next to Isaac Morse, who makes the surprise Royal Rumble appearance. If you watch the wrestling, you know what I'm talking about on that. And Joe Fierro will start tail and Charlie 17th on the field. As they will roll off, they'll get one pace lap and go from there. Yep, obviously a lot of changes on the stream. I made the promise last week or 2 weeks ago that things were going to be fixed. And well, I try to live up to one promise in my life, and here it is. Things are fixed. Yeah, so looking forward to this. So pit strategy, let's talk about this. We have all but 2 drivers starting this race on the mediums. Shane Coogan and Justin Miller are on the reds. So with that being said, 25 laps appears to be the max on a tank of fuel. So what do you think tonight? Are we looking at a one-stop strategy with the blacks going as long as you can, then switching to the reds, or are you maybe splitting this race in half and doing a 19-19 run?
Normally, the rule of thumb, at least for me, is to make as few stops as possible. The less time that you're spent stopped on pit road means less time really lost. Now, of course, you can argue that you could lose time on the track if you don't have the right tire compound on. But I would shoot for the one-stopper. But if you have extraordinarily big pace and you think you can pull out the delta time to do a two-stopper and still hold your position, that might be a gamble someone's willing to take. But they're going to have to burn big-time rubber here in the first opening laps and separate themselves big time.
You see them going over to the backstretch area there.
So you mentioned also about the cars bottoming out going into turn 1 because of physics and downforce and everything. Mm-hmm. That also, depending on how much that hits the car, that's actually going to grind down the bottom of the car and actually cause damage. And hopefully it does not flag the quick repair or the fast repair option when they hit pit road, because it will automatically fix the car whether they know it or not. And then when they need that fast repair, it might not be there when they really need it. So hopefully that's not the point. We've actually run some road courses in the past that actually have caused damage to cars. I think Road Atlanta was like that in the past, where it would cause damage at the bottom of the hill there. Yep. I raced in Lime Rock in a prototype car, and every time we came down the hill there, it would damage the car. So sometimes it's just you can't do anything about it because it's just the nature of the code and the track.
All right, as the cars are going to come through the final sets of corners here. Gary, it's the first time we get to turn left into turn 1 at Indianapolis, but we're going into the road course of this on the moto circuit. It's the RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome to the 2 weeks of February at Indy.
Here they come barreling down to the former site of the Snake Pit, infield.
Well, the Snake Pit's in turn 3, buddy.
Well, it used to be turn 1 back in the day.
Oh, I got you. I assume you've seen a few concerts there. But right off the bat, let's see everybody making it through the turn 2, 3, 4 section. This is where it's a little bit different than the Indy course. Shane Coogan, by the way, did not take the green flag. He is on pit road.
I don't know. Hopefully he did not have problems with his VR headset again. He had problems during the Velocity Online Racing race where he was among the leaders and crashed out, unfortunately. And,
Cody Claiborne off track back here.
Oh, my goodness.
Driveline
not
Sims.
a good start for him either.
No, not a good start. He's going to fall straight to the back. Unfortunate for him. And I think Isaac
So
might have.
hopefully,
Oh, go ahead.
hopefully Shane got that taken care of. So we want to see him back in the track. But yeah, we're getting ready to talk about Isaac. He's up big
Good
time. He's already up
grief.
ninth.
7 spots in, what, 5 corners? 6 corners?
Yep, that's Isaac.
Good grief. Yes, Travis, pretty much. I've been asked, do I broadcast every night? Yeah, pretty much.
He's like ESPN.
Yeah, apparently.
Kerstetter taking a very aggressive low line off the last turn there to break the draft. I'm not quite sure why, but third place is Dakota the Maid. Hey, and if you look at his livery, you know I've compared him before to Tom Sneva, right?
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Consistency. That is his take on the Tom Sneva Texaco Star livery from the 1980s.
That was a very popular paint scheme back in the day.
Oh, awesome. I mean, I remember the toy, the Texaco Star. I had that as a kid. I remember the Tyco slot car Texaco toy, a Texaco Star toy. Yeah, that if they could put it a toy or put Texaco on the side of something, IndyCar definitely, or actually probably more like USAC back in the day,
Right.
actually did it.
Add more life to your
remember
car.
That, also remember Janet Guthrie actually drove that car before Tom Sneva.
Look back here. Craig Forsythe starting to put pressure on Isaac Morris. This is for the 9th position. Isaac got the great start, but now that car is kind of settled down. And Craig with a nice move to the inside as they come up into I've got the corners all backwards here now because I think this is like now the turn, 7, 8, 9 section?
Yeah,
we're going
we gotta
backwards.
Turn ourselves on the head. I'm glad you got the. Do you have the track map up? No,
I'm
you don't
working
have
on
the track map.
Oh, and Craig goes off track. There's the broadcaster's jinx for you.
Oh,
Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to go black screen for 1 second, and I'm going to get the map for you guys. Because, yeah, it's all due to my the ticker. I have to reload the overlay real quickly. Okay, there we go. I got to figure that trick out now. So as you see, they're going counterclockwise, basically down to turn 1. Here's turn number 2 on the track. Turn 3 and 4 section here. Jim Herrick up here in the 10th position right now. How about Julian Altena up some 6 positions already up to the 9th spot?
yeah. I think he's been following Isaac there a little bit. Though Isaac is in the pits. He's pitted at lap 2. He was in there for 34 seconds. I couldn't tell you if that's a scheduled stop or not.
Well, he's spinning right now over at turn number 3. He's having all kinds of issues. Thankfully, where he spun at, there's nothing. And the best part is he did a spin, but he kind of faced him the straight to go right on up and past the turn 4 area back on the regular part of the track here. So
It's about the point where Danny Sullivan did that spin and found himself going in
85.
the right direction right there. So I think maybe he's on cold tires. I don't know, but he is on the alternate compound right now. So maybe he's got a plan.
he is on the Reds right now. So 3 drivers on the Reds. Cohen Evans, Shane Coogan, and Eric O'Connor pushed to pass right now. He went purple with a 23-26. He's trying to run away from the field right now.
He did. Yeah, 120. He went purple in sectors 1, 2, 3, and 4. He is on a flyer, and I think he's trying to build up that delta so he doesn't have to worry about getting past during his pit stop.
Eric O'Connor's already won 2 races this season, including that fantastic race last week that came down to the last couple of laps in a battle with him and Ed Kerstetter, and it came down to pit stops out there at Mosport.
Yeah, and he ran him down. That was a great finish. I was talking with Eric a little bit on the TI Discord, and he was kind of downplaying his performance, like, I'll be lucky if I survive this one. Well, I think modesty has kind of got the best of him right now. He seems to be doing pretty well, but hey, we're only 4 laps into it, so it's a long way to go.
I think I had that last night in a race, too. I had a guy tell me, I'm not that good, and he finished in the top 5, ran top 5 all night. I'm like, dude! Let's see what kind of speeds they get up here on the straightaway. O'Connor 150 up to 160. Should
Might
be
hit
easily 180
here.
mile an hour down to turn 1 here.
Yeah, right before turn 1 there. There he goes.
About 170 actually. And there's that bottoming out I was talking about.
And those poor corner workers over there that have to reset those cones every single time.
whoa, hold on.
There you go. So you saw him get a little fishtail there. Now, when you saw him rejoin the oval, you saw that little bump there, and that's the change between the apron and the. There is a little bit of banking there,
Right.
And that's the change between that, and the cars will get light there. And if you don't time it right, or if you're too heavy on the accelerator, you will go around.
You see back here, this is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. All these guys within a second of each other at 3rd place in there, too. Dakota DeMed is here, Caleb Bensey, Alex Van de Sant, Matt Houston, Cohen Evans, all 5 of these cars. Nobody pushing to pass right now. If you don't know what push to pass is, just basically think of it as, about a 20 horsepower boost for about 20 seconds, I think it is. And you get that boost of horsepower that helps you potentially pass the other car or even be defensive. Is this one I mentioned Isaac Morse has spun over in NASCAR 1 again?
Again. Uh-oh. What's going on?
He's turning right into NASCAR 1. I think he's like, Isaac is having too much fun, I think.
And we're doing donuts. I don't know what's going on there.
Isaac's dog is taking over the car, I think. Anyways, all right. Let's go back to that battle. Who was the I'm trying to remember the Chief Steward's name back, the New Hampshire Will Power Bird race, because he was the guy for a while that ran the show and nobody liked. Bo Barfield.
Mm-hmm.
If Bo Barfield would have seen that, he might have actually sent some kind of award bonus to Isaac for that.
Yeah,
with how weird of calls he made.
Would allowed it. Is Isaac back in the pits again?
Yeah, I think he towed back to pit road. I think he just said,
okay.
I think he said phooey in another way.
Well, it definitely had the F in it, I'm sure, but...
oh, mine has PH. Phooey.
Hong Kong, okay. That's old school right there. You don't get to mention Hong Kong Phooey ever on any broadcast, I bet you. That's a first.
The question is how many people recognize that. So these guys all keeping it single file in a good battle here. They head to the front straightaway here. Nobody still pushed to pass, and really, matter of fact, Cohen has all 10 still as they go down this front straightaway.
The LMC guys have used the most. It's Craig and Van de Sant have used actually 2, but most everyone else is at either 9 or 10.
Eric,
oh, there he goes! Right there. I told you that's where it happens. He lost it on the back end. That's going to allow Kerstetter through, and now we got to change for the lead. Now the strategy changes.
O'Connor has lost it over in that section. You talked about it. This is very big over the turn 4 section. Let's take a look at it as we roll that beautiful bean footage. He catches the curve. Oh, you know what? His right side caught the ground. That really, you know what? He got out of the groove there is what he did.
The dangerous corner. It's a lot dangerous. It's a lot more challenging than it really looks. Let's put it that way.
Very technical. And that gives Ed Kerstetter the lead of this race. But watch one more time here. Notice when he goes around this left-hander. I said one more time. Thank you. Gary, you're going to notice he's outside the black. And I wonder if there's already rubber developing there and it got him loose. Actually, it happened almost under braking.
I think he was starting to come around even before that. He might have been. It's probably. I think it's just under power.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Kerstetter's leading the way. He's in that Team Scandia Jimmy Kite vintage IRL livery. He says he chose that because his kid likes it. So his kid's got some decent taste.
I would say, yeah, Jimmy Kite. Back in the old IRL days when they ran all ovals, including Dover.
Just because you can run an Indy car at it doesn't mean you should.
Hey, come on now.
Hey, it was exciting to see him race on it the first time, but I don't think the team owners liked the Bills when they got after that.
I think it's the closest thing they'll ever get to running an Indy car at Bristol. You got to put them at Dover.
If I remember right, it was so bumpy and rough there that the dash that the PI dash that they used to have, because they didn't have everything on the steering wheels like they have nowadays. Tony Stewart's dash was falling down into his lap during his laps there, and they had to somehow helicopter tape it back up to the top of his cockpit.
It's not a matter of it. It's not a matter of it even being the bumps there, because there's really not bumps at Dover. It's more of the what do they call those? That separate each portion of the track because it's concrete. So you got to put in the. Of course, I'm losing the word in my head, but basically they contract and compress together in the cold and warm weather.
Yeah.
Joints. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, if I remember right, they actually, in preparation for that race, and the Winston Cup guys at the time really loved it because it was a rough track for them as it was. They made it even smoother for those, and their speeds actually went up in their next race there because they had a better track to run off of just because of the Indy cars.
Julian Altena looks like maybe had an issue over here in that same section where O'Connor went around. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he goes loop-de-loo. Little 90-degree turn. Good save on his end. Looks like
O'Connor's back within a second and a half of Kerstetter, so he's not letting them get away.
Yeah, he's probably driving angry right now.
A little red.
Appreciate the viewers watching us this evening. Glad to be back on here and at full speed and at full song here. 18 viewers watching tonight. Continue to work on that. Let's see if we can get that to 20. Challenge out there. Tell two friends to tell two friends.
Now, how did Julian leave a message in chat, but he's out in the car?
He did it before the race.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, if he's sitting there typing, if he's texting and driving, that's a bad thing to be doing.
Well, I'm surprised he's not getting hounded by some of his people, his teammates and things like that. I don't have a problem with what he was doing earlier, but I did catch him over on the side of Discord. It said what he was doing. He was listening to Nickelback.
Oh.
I personally have been to 2 Nickelback concerts in Indianapolis. Had no problems with them. Fantastic shows, but others might not like them. And I'm not afraid to admit it. So here's
Connor's
one thing.
Right there.
One
he's
thing.
got it within a. Sorry, he's now within a second.
And the one thing I do want to mention, though, here, a lot of these drivers on the medium tires, but these times are falling off. I'm seeing 24s and 25s now out of these cars. And we got a battle here. Alex Vandeset, Caleb Bensey right here on screen. This is for the 4th position, but some of these times I notice are starting to fall off a little bit. And this is on the medium tires at lap 9.
Yeah, O'Connor did a little bit of a trim job over on one of the infield turns there and allowed O'Connor to actually get a little bit closer. So I'm willing to bet that these tires are, definitely going off, and it's too early to pit. They can't do it. If they want to do it in one stop, they can't do it now. If they do it now, they've committed themselves to a 2-stopper.
Now, Gary, help us out here for those who are maybe oval drivers or NASCAR guys who are watching tonight for the first time. Explain the difference between these red and black line tires.
Okay, so you have the primary tire, which is has the black white, where the white wall area would be, the wall, tire wall, and then you have the alternative compound, which is the red tire, and the red tire is a slightly stickier tire, has a little bit softer compound, which allows for a little bit better grip. But with better grip, you have shorter longevity, so they tend to go off faster than the primary tire, which doesn't have as good grip but lasts longer. So it's a trade-off. Does it taste great, or is it less filling?
Make it a Bud Light, I guess. I'm trying to remember. Like, who was that? There. I think that was Bud Light, right?
It's Miller Lite.
Pre-Dilly. Oh, Miller Lite. Yeah. I was like pre-Dilly Dilly. But anyways.
Yeah, O'Connor is right there. He's within, he's 0.2 back, so he is right on the, I expect the pass probably, he dove it in there a little deep there in that corner. He might give it a look-see in going into turn 1.
He maybe pushed the pass here. He's still got 9 left. I mean, Ed's got all 10. You think Ed learned last week about, he burned off all those push to pass and down the Andretti straight, couldn't use them at all. And Eric's on it. He went down. It went up down to 8. Eric is on push to pass here.
O'Connor with Kerstetter with a.
Did Eric clip the wall in turn 1? And wow, Ed jumped sideways.
Side by side into turn 2. Wow.
Nice move.
Wow.
I'm gonna go back. I saw sparks. So did Eric? I want to see if Eric hit the wall.
See, I've seen that since they've done the new tire model and they did a lot of updates for IndyCar. I've noticed that you've seen a lot of sparks flying as they get close to walls. And I remember when we had our first race when we had Detroit or Long Beach. I remember I was like, oh, so-and-so hit the wall. But it was kicking up a spark, but it was obviously not registering any damage. So I don't know if that was another one of those situations. But I'll tell you what, Kerstetter definitely tried to defend there, and O'Connor just took him on the outside there, which is great because he needed that position to go into turn 2, and he gets the position, and now he's pulling away. So even with the spin, he gets back the lead.
I know we've been kind of doing some wrestling references tonight. You know how you're that big, tall heel guy that loses a match, and you're all angry, and you run into the little guy backstage?
Yes,
Isaac Morris over here in chat is wondering who the other guy in the booth is with me. I think you're that little guy he runs into backstage right now. That is Isaac. This is Gary Godso that is in the booth with me. Oh, by the way.
I want to see what he says now.
No, the other guy. What other guy? Is there a third? Wait a minute. Is Isaac in the booth with me? Is that what he's trying to tell me?
Oh, wait a minute. I heard. And,
Isaac is in here with us.
We might have an intruder.
Wait a minute. Are we the two small guys now in this?
Yeah, we are actually.
Not at all.
Isaac, you okay out there? Because, I mean, I noticed you were about 33 laps early on your donuts.
So I haven't done any practice for this race. None at all. So I was like, I said to Chris before, like literally 5 minutes before the race, I was like, oh, I'll do some laps to see how I feel. And it didn't feel too good at all. It was not fun. So I was just like, okay, just like treat this as like a practice session. And then I just kept on making mistakes. And then I just said to Chris, like, should I park it? And he was like, yeah, park it. And he's like, but just have some fun before. So I was like, oh, I did some donuts.
I noticed. We caught it on screen.
Yeah.
We noticed that you were trying to make asphalt out of the turn 4 section to go straight instead of going around that right-hander back onto the track.
Yeah. It's just doing some drifting, practicing for the Rallycross Championship coming up next week. But this isn't exactly the car for that, so.
It's good practice at least, but no, sorry to see you're out, but yeah, hang on out here, have a good old time. Real quickly though, I do got to take care of a little bill paying if you guys don't mind real quick. As you know, this is the RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix, brought to you by RaceVerse. If you're looking for iRacing broadcaster for sports car or open wheel league or one-off event, RaceVerse specializes in broadcasting IndyCar and Formula style racing as well as sports cars and prototype racing. Visit RaceVerse.com to check out the previous broadcasts and then send a message using their contact form and let them know who you are looking for. And what you're looking for is Craig Forsyth about spins it over there in that NASCAR 1 section. Just now as we're watching him go around the back into the infield portion of the track. These turns have got me all backwards now.
Yeah, unless I have a map up, just forget it. I don't know if we'll ever run this track, so I'm not putting a lot of effort in the
I think this is...
Like I said, the sponsor was awfully sadistic scheduling this one.
And he admitted it, which is the most interesting part there.
Yeah,
but...
yeah.
So, Isaac, you've been up here running with Ed. You've been up here running with Eric. Eric's your teammate. No, he's not your teammate. I'm sorry. But you got...
Eric is,
he is
Eric's
your teammate. Okay, I'm getting mixed up. Don't mind me. But you've been up here with these guys a lot the last couple weeks. As Dakota DeMed actually... Did he just spin or something? He's got an issue over here coming to pit road.
He is pit road.
Talk about these guys, and you've had to fight these guys pretty hard throughout the race, and talk about what kind of battle these two are having right now when it comes to the race, because these guys are up front every week.
Well, so you know the story of David and Goliath, but
Yes.
This is Goliath versus Goliath. Like these two drivers, they very little separates the both of them week in, week out, and it is literally the matter of tenths some weeks, and then it could be the matter of seconds. And I can say the same. Like there's times where I'm a lot slower than Eric, or I'm a lot quicker than Eric, and the same goes for Ed. But yeah, these two, like they're going to be having a massive battle, and especially if something happens to Eric again, touch wood that it doesn't, rooting for my team here, but if these two get close, we could be looking at a very interesting end to the race.
Well, let's put yourself in Ed's shoes right now. Okay, you got a situation where Alex Van de Sant just passed Matt Houston over here in coming off of the NASCAR 4 section of the track here for the 5th position here. Isaac, I want to put you in Ed's shoes for a second. Obviously, deep down inside right now, Eric O'Connor's faster because obviously he pulled away to a 4-second lead, spun out, caught back up to you, passed you, and now has another 2.5-second lead on you. What, in your mind, can you do if you're in Ed's shoes to say, all right, obviously he's faster, how can I beat him now?
Well, I'm looking at the difference between Ed and Eric, and at the moment I think it is confidence on the tires. So with Ed's case right now, he's obviously looking at his pace compared to Eric's, and if I was Ed, I'd be saying, okay, let's look after the tires a little bit more, not push so hard, because these reds only last a certain amount of time. And with this first stint being the longest stint compared to the second, if he can look after the tires towards like the last 5 or 6 laps of the stint, he's going to be in a much better position to attack. And then it's going to be the same with the primary compound. Ed's got to be really careful and calculated of what he has to do. But I wouldn't push on the primary compound straight away, because they are a harder compound, so they are going to take a little bit longer to heat up. So, I'd just be biding my time. I wouldn't be looking to be sending up the inside anytime soon, because at the moment Eric is really struggling around the first S section, and I think that is because of his tires. And now that Ed can probably see that, he can think, okay, I've got some leverage over him here. So he just needs to pick his time when to attack and when not to attack.
This is Isaac Morris that you're hearing in the booth with us here tonight. Isaac tried to start the race, unfortunately didn't get enough practice, so decided to hang out with us tonight, which is never a bad thing. Just feel bad for you points-wise, but at least you're going to get some points tonight when it's all over with. And, Gary, we're on board riding with Ed right now, and this course is so technical with the way it is set up now, because we're on the old Indianapolis circuit. These guys got to be so focused, and I think their arms are probably already screaming at them.
Well, and again, a lot of them said it was a surreal experience where they're just simply not used to going in that direction, or they're used to that portion of the road at a slightly different camber, so they have a little bit different expectation when they go into a corner and it's just not there anymore. So it's a whole new
Joe
experience.
Fierro spins right in front of Jim Herrick. Look out.
Wow.
Wow, that was tight.
That was some great avoidance from Jim there.
Well, I saw how Joe was catching Jim really quickly down the straightaway, and I'm like, man, let's go check out this battle. And all of a sudden, you just see the car spinning. Let's go back and see that again here. This is what they call taking it too hot in the corner.
Full send.
Jim's just letting him go. Oh, and he clips it.
He caught the grass.
Yeah. Usually that is not the fastest way around.
No, and that's one thing, again, with these tires, is that the only thing you want to be touching is the tarmac. You do not want to be looking to put a wheel off the track at all. As soon as you do, there's 3 tires gripping on the circuit, not 4 anymore. So that tire that isn't gripping, he's going to wave goodbye and send you spinning.
So, guys, you want to take a guess who the fastest car on the track is, not named Eric O'Connor or Ed Kerstetter?
Oh, let me look at the times here.
You cheater.
Well, it certainly isn't me.
It is Alex Van de Sant, the 5th place car here. Remember, he passed Matt Houston a little bit ago. Now he's caught his teammate Cohen Evans up here in the 4th position. Yeah, they're 24 seconds back, but Alex out here running 24 4s, which is right up there with the leaders. Let's face it, Eric's out in his own. Eric is out in Claremont right now. But Ed Kerstetter running 24s. As a matter of fact, Cohen's coming to pit road right now. So Cohen going to be the first of the leaders to come to pit road here, and I'm assuming he's going to blacks at this moment. This is lap number 18, and this is what we talked about, Gary, earlier about the split in half, 18 and 20, which is, okay, 51 and 49%.
Yeah, so he's going with the one-stop strategy, it looks like, depending on... Well, I'm just assuming he's going on the one-stop.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think you have to go to blacks and run them the distance, right, Isaac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly with the blacks, yep.
Yeah, this is a simple case of a split strategy where you do half the laps on the reds and then half the laps on the blacks. And this may actually play into Cohen's hands a little bit, because if there's any mistakes between Ed or Eric now until the end of the stint, you could be looking at Cohen challenging for their third or maybe second, because these guys are going to drop off very quickly with the blacks heating up.
Well, I'm sorry. I was going to say, Isaac, do you worry about Alex doing the overcut here?
Yes, I would expect Alex pitting either this lap.
Oh, never mind. Alex is spinning. He just clipped the grass
There he is.
and nowhere to go. Caleb glues him. Oh, no.
Yeah, there's nowhere for Caleb to go there, unfortunately. That was...
I think that was...
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Matt Houston. I'm sorry. Wrong car. Matt Houston, not Caleb. Sorry, Caleb fans.
Oh.
It almost runs up on him in the pits there. But, yeah, they're going to have to pit regardless, so that they're now committed to that strategy.
Well, unfortunately...
Well, it's a good job that they... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, unfortunately for Alex, it's one of those things where he has had no luck all season. None at all. I mean, every race, I think he's been involved in something.
Yeah, you can go from hero to zero pretty quickly with these cars. His last season, I came in halfway, and I was doing pretty good. And as you guys said last season, I was dubbed the expected champion in a way for this season. But some stuff has happened which has caused me to struggle, and I've hit a bit of a slump, and it happens to all drivers. And I know Alex is a very high caliber driver. He's driving in multiple leagues and doing well in other leagues, so there's no reason why he shouldn't be up the top. But I think that just all in all, as a driver, he's struggling, and he's hit one of those plateaus. So,
well, Isaac's Alex's last trip here, actually, which was in the Velocity Online Racing, he actually won their Indy 300 here. So you're right, 0 to hero in almost no time, but it looks like the slump is kind of continuing here.
So this race might be showing up at the right time then for Alex next week, because, I mean, he won the first running of the Indy 300, or second running, I'm sorry, the Indy 300 here for the TI Racing League 2 seasons ago. So obviously he's won Indianapolis plenty of times, and here we go to the Oval next week.
That was a little bit of an asterisk next to that one.
Well, we won't get into that. A win's a win. A single's a single.
Pecker,
a single's a single in the newspaper, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a bunt single or if it's a single to the wall somehow. And
it was 162 games, not 100.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Craig's just hit pit road now.
Oh, but Ed's coming to pit road.
At lap 21.
Now, remember last week, I believe Eric pitted before Ed.
So Justin Miller on the primes, who started the race on the primes, is now up to 6th. He's up 8 spots.
He could possibly be a bit of a menace for the midfield pack, like Cohen and Caleb, because if he can keep up the pace on the reds while everyone's on the black compound, he could be looking at setting some reasonable lap times and getting back up there and getting in the mix with some drivers when he's made his stop.
Yeah, I just realized that I've been getting it backwards the whole time, that the S is the blacks, the M is the reds on my thing.
Yeah, that's the... I wish they would fix that.
I might be sending a message to them about that. Can we make that a fixture, please? Julian Altena to pit road here. You would think that the red lettered thing would be the red tire. And Julian, I don't know if that's how you get on pit road, but it works. There's a number 2 car in his way getting to his pit stall, apparently.
Whose cars could that be?
Yeah. Leader on pit road. I don't know.
On pit road, yep.
All right, let's see if Ed's opening lap now on the primary compound helps him get ahead of Eric, because the last few laps have been in the high 24s. So.
Oh, Eric just hit the wall over on pit road. Look at his right rear
and
tire.
It is wobbling. I don't know if it's going to snap back in. We'll see. It is wobbling.
That's looking pretty bad. He's got to be careful coming into his stall now.
And here comes.
He's got a fast repair.
Yeah, and and he overshot his pit stall, and Ed's coming off the final corner right now.
Yeah, Ed's.
This is going to be close.
2,200 feet, 2,000 feet now, 1,700 feet.
He's going to pass him. He's got him.
800 feet.
Here he comes into turn 1 right now.
Oh,
This
it's
is
going
good.
to be
This is
close.
gonna be
wow.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's gonna be close.
Yikes, he got him. Eric got him.
Oh, and he smokes it going into the turn, so he was trying.
So he almost
Now-
didn't even lose any time off that, thankfully.
No, and now he needs to bring those tires very carefully up to temperature.
Yes, was he? Ed's had a lap already on these primary tires, so he's going to have a little bit of an advantage, whereas Eric's going to be looking to like tiptoe around the track a little bit. So we'll see how things go for Eric now on this opening lap.
I don't know. Watching those first couple corners there, he put about 0.2 of a second on Ed.
And he already has another 2/10. He's up to 3 seconds now, down to 2.8 in the braking zone, but he now stretches it back out a little bit more.
I think we're going to take an advantage here. Let's see. Let's go. I'm going to pick. You know what? Let's do Eric here. We're going to go on board with Eric O'Connor, the leader of the race. This is that segment of the race we like to do. It is, of course, brought to you by our good buddy Dakota DeMed. He's got, of course, the Sunset Arctic and Echo Blade game that is coming out in the very near future. So we are going to do the ride-along lap here. We're going to shut our mics off for a lap or so and let you enjoy this ride along the Indianapolis Motor Speedway bike course. All right, that was the Sunset Arctic Echo Blade lap on board with our leader. And Isaac, you happened to notice a couple of things while we were watching that lap on board his car.
Yeah, so Eric is using a lot of the circuit, especially coming into
Right
this
here?
corner now. Yeah, he is. Just look how much of his car gets off. That's like half of his car off the track, and yeah, he's really optimizing his lines through each corner to maximize the speed out of it and into the corner. But just take a look at the gap between Eric and Ed. It has dropped.
I have noticed that.
So I got a funny feeling Ed is feeling a lot more comfortable on these tires.
Which was the exact opposite. Last week, Ed was comfortable on the Reds, and Eric struggled on the Reds at Mosport, because remember he was talking about how he was just holding on for his life. And now here we are, it's the exact opposite this week.
Yeah, so last week, I know obviously last week's race has been and gone, but
Right.
the way that the setup was made for the last week, it had an attached ARB which heated the rear tires up going through the fast sections, and it allowed the car to rotate through the corners, but it wouldn't allow the car to slow down and cool the tires off quick enough for the slower corners. And when the car slows down, the back end lifts up. When the back end lifts up, that means there's no aerodynamics coming through the rear of the car, so it is all mechanical grip. And as soon as it's all mechanical grip with hot tires, you're spinning. You're seeing a car coming towards you, and unfortunately I was one of them to experience that once or twice last week.
That's very interesting. You learn something every day.
You know, the portion of the track where you're saying that he's sending half of his car through there. When I ran with the Xfinity cars, I was doing the exact same thing he was, but the other direction, because that was a great way to cut that corner, and I can appreciate what he's doing. But I want to give a couple shout outs while I got it here. Eric's still purple with the 123.264. And Julian, up 8, currently in 7th spot, up 8 positions. So he is your big gainer for the race so far.
And the other interesting thing I do want to mention, go back to that spin a few laps ago with Alex Van Desant and Matt Houston. Alex is still P5. And Matt did fall down 2 spots from the accident, so they've lost a little bit of time. But for that accident to happen, they went straight to pit road, got the reset. They, as Julian puts 2 off there, basically they kind of made the best. They made chicken salad out of,
Yep. Stuff.
Yeah, chicken soup.
Yep.
Oh, Dakota's just spun.
Oh,
And
Dakota.
Alex is off as well. Alex just had the spin. I saw him facing the wrong direction.
Well, they're all facing the wrong direction, technically.
Oh. Did he spin? Was it Alex?
Last thing I see is Tom Carpenter going off.
I think my iRace is playing games with me.
It happens. But needless to say, the lead has been pushed out to 2.7 seconds over Ed Kerstetter from Eric O'Connor. So Eric, I think, is finally getting into rhythm on those blacks, and that's allowing himself to pull away. And I thought Ed was having issues. I noticed that time just went climbing really quickly, but just a little scare on my part. But everybody else is pretty spread out throughout this race for the most part. Everybody's, the closest battle on track right now looks like Justin Miller back here and Craig Forsyth, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, you got Alex and Dakota as well, 1.4 seconds.
Yeah. So a couple guys.
Dakota just set his fast lap in the race. Dan Barrero just set his fast lap in the race. So some of these guys are starting to settle into a rhythm and looking down some laps.
Problem is it took 28 laps.
Hey, sometimes it happens later for others. I good example of that.
One thing I have noticed, though, sorry to cut you off there, Gary.
All right.
Dakota has done 2 stints on the red tires, so he has
Right.
another stop. He's got another stop. So I don't know what his strategy is right now, but he needs to use a set of the black tires.
And the delta on pit road's been, about 30, 35 seconds probably?
Yes.
So right now, if Dakota were to pit, he's going to need to get some more time, or else he's going to finish somewhere down in the 8th or 9th position, probably.
The fastest time right now
Actually,
I
almost
see
10.
on pit road is Dan Barrera, 38 seconds. Most everyone else is in the 39.
Let's see here. Justin Miller likely on push to pass here. To is the inside of Forsyth to turn 1. He'll get the spot easily. Got to be careful with that bump right there. That is vicious. That bump in turn 1's almost as vicious as the manhole cover at Charlotte Motor Speedway coming off pit road. You think that I'm lying? Go hit that thing once. Oh, and Craig spins it. Lazy spin
Craig
over.
spins it, Yep.
It's about the 15th time he's done that. Just a little slide, and then continues on.
Tom Carpenter's around right in front of Eric as well. That was.
Tom has not had the best of nights, unfortunately. Tom running in the 14th position in that Nike car. Doing his best out there, but unfortunately it's not... he's ready to go on the oval, I'm sure, next week.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty happy that he's going to go next week as well. There's only 4 corners to learn. So
Oh, look at that. Tom Carpenter put all 4 off right over in that shortcut a second ago.
that will warrant a slow down for sure.
Yes. Well, he's not slowing down.
You can manipulate the slowdowns through some certain tracks. Like if you get a slowdown right before a straight, what you can do is like lift off the throttle and shift up the gear so
Right.
the car accelerates slower, but you're still
Oh,
accelerating.
your leader is off. Your leader is off.
Eric O'Connor off the track. Yes, he is. And Ed goes back to the lead. Oh, boy.
9 to go. Now here's the excitement.
That was over in the traditional turn 2 part of the track. Turn 2, turn 3 section. But
Yeah, he's pretty lucky he didn't beach it, so he was able to keep it going. Because if he beached it, his race is over.
let's see what happens here. He's just too hard off the corner there, and it just goes sliding off.
He is
Right back on the
attacking.
gearbox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure an anger. Now here's the problem: you don't want to make a bad situation worse here.
No,
He had to breathe it a little bit. Sorry to make him jump again. He had to breathe it a little bit coming out of that turn because he saw the car twitch. So I'm sure he rolled out of it real quick, allowed the car to settle down, and then gets back into it, and then it allows Kerstetter to get roughly a second lead on him. But he's reeled back in.
Yeah, you just don't want to make a silly mistake now. This is one of those moments where
And Ed spins.
And there's the mistake.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness.
Is that commentator's curse?
Well, no, we weren't on board with him, so we can't say that.
Right, he's got to be careful because Caleb is approaching pretty fast.
Yes, and they keep going. Caleb might win this thing. I mean, Caleb knows
Yeah.
how to go from 3rd to 1st to win a race at Indy.
No.
And Ed's off again, so now Caleb's going P2.
I'm about to say, is it too soon for Isaac to hear about that?
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
It's fine, guys.
Well, he just said, well, then again, 10 minutes ago, he just said you got to put the past race behind you. So put the past race behind you.
Well, remember, Isaac, we never saw video. He did
True.
cross in front of you, so.
Yeah, I still laugh that it was net code, right?
The old lag pull.
I still think deep down that I crossed the line first. But
Dad, when I tell you, I want you to pull the lag switch on me. All right, Dakota's on pit road. Here he comes. So the 2-stop strategy for him, he's likely going to come out somewhere, maybe the last car in the lead lap, actually.
He's going to be hovering around the P9,
10th-ish?
P10.
Yeah. But then again, might not be as bad because you won't have to probably fill as much, if at all.
Yeah, as a driver, you always want to finish on the lead lap. You never want to be lapped in a race.
It's an ego booster.
Yes, finishing a lap behind.
Yeah, he didn't even take fuel. Straight tires. And Matt Houston's on pit road.
Yeah,
And-
Matt's got the reds as well, so he's obviously having.
Oh, look out! Oh, Justin Miller and Dakota about met each other. Dakota goes off the track. Oh boy.
Oh,
Keep
he's
it,
in the
keep it,
wall.
Keep it. Oh.
That was.
That could have been bad, but Dakota going to lose the 7th spot.
I know what Justin.
Please keep it set. No.
What the hell is this guy doing?
Well, I'm sure Justin will be ordering a new pair of hands after.
Or is the new lingo in iRacing, Code Brown?
Yes.
6 to go in 20-second lead.
Yeah, Eric O'Connor. And that TI Racing team has looked really strong this year. He's got 20 seconds over Caleb Bensey. He's driving probably pretty angry right now.
Yes, there's one thing that Ed's got to watch out for now, which is his tire temps, because Caleb hasn't spun. Obviously Caleb's been going at a bit of a slower pace, but obviously not too slow. But he's going to have a better tread left on his tires, especially if Ed's been spinning and pushing to make sure that he can stay with Eric in the front. So he's got to be real careful, because if he's not, you could probably see Ed taking another spin.
Now, Isaac, I said this last week, and I had two people, one in the booth right now, the other one's the owner's league, laugh at me when I said this. And I'm going to put it out there again, and you guys can laugh at me all you want to. But, you know, I made the comment about you a couple times where I said you kind of remind me of Paul Tracy a little bit when, you know, you're really fast, but, you know, at times you have your mistakes.
Yep.
Would Caleb Bensey almost be like a Scott Dixon-like driver, maybe?
Well, in Scott Dixon's current form, not to shame Caleb, but I wouldn't say so.
Well, what I mean by that is, like, Caleb is just out there top 5 in the death out of you, and he's going to get the win when his car is fast enough. And look, he's up there in the points every time since he showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Scott does. you know?
Yeah, no. In that case, yeah, definitely. Like, consistency beats speed every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is really, like, easy to be quick over one lap, and I know that myself, because I can put out a lap when I want to, but I can't do it lap after lap after lap. It is one of the hardest things for a driver, and that's why you have professionals, and then you have sim racers.
Well, yes.
So that is pretty much the difference between a real racing driver or a professional driver that is up there on, you know, the high professional sim racing teams, the ones that are competing for thousands and thousands of dollars every year. It's the consistency and the ability to put the speed down. And to be honest, I think if Caleb honed in on his skills a little bit more, he would definitely be one of those drivers that could be up for a fight in the pros.
Well, you know what? And Caleb, he's a college student right now, at his age, or even maybe you know, I'm not sure exactly his age, but I mean, at that age, to be this good in a sim, he's got plenty of time to get up there.
Caleb did pass Ed.
Yeah, he passed him when Ed went off the second time.
Yeah.
But
Ed's right back up to the gearbox. They're making a battle on this. You know, I wasn't necessarily laughing at the Paul Tracy comparison. I just really wanted to know where Isaac's sexy shoe collection is.
and actually, thinking about it, Isaac feels he won last season's Indy 500. That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I've made a decision. I'm never coming back.
Dude, you showed up.
Didn't know what I was getting myself into.
There's a reason why there's a waiver form over on the wall behind you. Anyways, yeah.
4 to go.
Yeah, maybe that could cover the hole in my wall now.
Hey, how long did you run today, by the way? If you did at all.
No, I've been pretty busy today, so like I wasn't expecting to actually run this race myself. Like I wasn't gonna show up, but then I was thinking, oh, you know, I could do like 2 or 3 laps and get the points. But
Starting park.
yeah, pretty much. But you know, change the topic. But Ed is
he's all over Caleb.
He is filling Caleb's mirrors up a treat right now.
All over the gearbox.
Yeah.
Push to pass. Caleb has 5.
Ed down to 2.
Yeah, I think Ed's going to get pretty dicey right now because, you know, we're coming to 2 laps to go, and he's thinking, I'm close enough to make a move, but it's just where do I make the move? And as you saw on the start-finish straight on the last lap, Caleb defended very well. He held the inside line, and that's what he needs to do for turn 1, because as soon as someone gets around up the inside, you have to give up the corner, and it will give Ed the advantage. So we'll just see how Caleb defends for the next 2 laps.
Do you think there's any defense that Caleb can use in turn 1, knowing that turn 2 is a right-hander?
The way that he will enter turn 1, if he wants to defend turn 2 as well, as long as he's ahead of Ed, he can slide the car to the right hand side of the track and kind of make it so it'll be his corner.
Ed's on it.
But
Caleb's on it too. 2 laps to go here at Indianapolis on the motor circuit. Hey, Sherry or Janet, one of you two want to let Jim know he's still got 10 pushes to pass to use sometime tonight? Figure I'd throw it out there. Jim Herrick's still with 10.
Maybe he forgot to pat the button.
I did that once before in a practice, actually. I'm like, oh, I guess I can't push the pass during practice.
Ed got a little coming back up onto the oval in the short chute there, and then lost a little time.
Well, Isaac mentioned the
might have been it.
heat.
That might have been it.
Isaac mentioned the heat in the tires and stuff like that. Yeah, Ed's out of push to pass. He's done. So it's straight up draft now to try to get by Caleb.
I think he's going to struggle without a push to pass, especially with Caleb with 4 left now that he used one on the start-finish.
Actually, Ed's done. Caleb now has 3.
Which Caleb will
3.
probably use 1 or 2 right here. He'll use 1 here, 1 on the backstretch, and then 1 back on this straightaway. That'll finish it off. Eric O'Connor's going to take the white flag here. Final lap of the RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix. He has got 16 seconds on Eric O'Connor, on Caleb Bensi. I guess he can't have 16 on himself, but hey, weirder things.
Kerstetter is Winchester on the
Well,
Yeah, he's
one I
looking
think
at
is his
it.
teammate, isn't it? Looks like, is that Houston
Yeah.
out in front? Yeah.
Yeah, but Matt is only 0.6 behind Craig right now, so there is a possibility for Matt to gain back another position there. So if he's able to do that, that will help him in the team points, of course. But I don't think there'll be any team tactics going on just yet.
Team orders.
2 words I do not like. Anyways.
You NASCAR folks all like team orders.
Anyways. Coming through the final 3 corners. Eric O'Connor going to come off of the final 2 corners, back off of NASCAR 4. Does a little wiggle. Probably going to use another push to pass like he did on the back straightaway just now. But he comes off the final corner. He's going to score his 3rd win of the season in the RaceVerse Indy Grand Prix. O'Connor wins it, and now let's get to the battle for 2nd. Can Ed do anything? As you see, the lap car did get out of the way of them both. Yeah, Caleb's got him. Caleb will get 2nd. Ed Kerstetter, we said that like we were so sad.
He's like, God damn it, Caleb. Second.
Caleb did good. Good job, Caleb. Cohen Evans finishes. Yep, he's going to get 4th. And Alex Van der Sande.
Go
ahead.
Sorry.
Nope,
I was
you're
just
fine.
going to say, the drive from Caleb there is the perfect example of consistency over speed. Whereas Ed had speed, but he didn't have consistency with his spins, etc. And Caleb didn't necessarily have the speed throughout the race, but he had the consistency. And consistency is key. So,
Biggest mover of the race going to finish 6th here. Julian Altena going to come off the final corner here. He started 15th in this race and going to finish on the lead lap in 6th.
Good job. I should go home and go to bed because he's got school in the morning.
Yes. What was it I saw earlier? He tweeted something that had me kind of laughing. I forget what it was.
oh, is it that video of him getting hit by someone out in Milwaukee?
Might be. No, it had me laughing. Dakota finishes 7th, Justin Miller 8th, and I think everybody has crossed the start-finish line. As Eric O'Connor, as old school as can be, rake the pit road to go to victory lane.
Yep.
No
Act like you've been
donuts.
Maybe he doesn't like donuts.
But he's American.
No, not necessarily.
So is Joseph
I-
Dugard. How many donuts has he done recently?
I kind of like the way that, it's the Barry Sanders point of view. It's actually, Barry Sanders, when he scored a touchdown, he wouldn't celebrate. He just take the ball, hand it off to the official, and go back and sit on the bench after he scored a touchdown. I like it. Act like you've been there before. Be a professional about it. Now, if you got excited and wanted to do donuts, that's prerogative. But I like the fact that he just wants to sit there and bring it in the park and then hop in to chat with us so he can get on the interview.
Nothing wrong.
Humble. Humble.
Yeah.
And he didn't do any winding donuts for the final 5 laps on both straightaways.
no weave.
Obviously haven't taught him very well then.
All right, you'll see your final standings going across the top of the board. Obviously, Eric O'Connor's going to get the win here, and now we got the whole TI Racing team joining us here in the booth tonight as the boss man sneaks in here. I think Isaac let him in, but because we had the door properly locked.
I had to come in.
Well, Eric O'Connor, you end up winning this race by about 16 seconds, but you, let's put it like this: you had a pretty clean race tonight. You had no issues on the track at all.
What do you mean?
I swear I saw him spin twice.
Twice?
Man, I'll tell you, I'm really glad I came away with the win here. This was a tough one, but man, I was kicking myself so much when I had that spin from the lead, and then I got it back, and I was like, and then I don't know what happened when I was in the pits. I think I was trying to take my fuel down, because I'm in VR. I think I zoned out just a little bit, clipped the wall going down the pits, and it meatballed me.
Oh, yeah, it ripped your right side off your car. You'll see it on the stream. The right rear tire was completely flat, and it broke suspension and everything. I'm like, man, he hit the perfect spot on the wall because it just broke that car.
You're lucky that you had a fast repair on that one.
Very much so. Very much so. So, that happened, and then luckily I had underfilled the car a little, and I think that's the main thing that kept me out with the comfortable enough gap over Ed to where I could just kind of feel things out. And I mean, just like last week, man, we were pushing hard up there, and then I made that second mistake, just got a little wide, and I knew from practice that if you go wide out there, you gotta just be real nice and easy. Don't try and rush to get on. Don't do anything. Just let it go till you get to the pavement, and then try to keep the wheel as straight as possible when you hit that pavement, because it will just spin the car.
Yep.
And I got really lucky there, and then I got even more lucky when Ed spun it in front of me and just kind of made it a cruise to the finish, because, man, that would have been real tough to get back around him at that point.
You say cruise to the finish, and you went off track still.
Well, I mean, after that, no, I think I was all right.
Didn't you have the off over near, or was that somebody else I'm thinking of? Anyways. But still, how's it...
issues after Ed's spin.
I could be seeing things. It easily can happen. Trust me. But still, third win of the season in 4 races here. You're definitely showing the dominance out there this evening. It has been easy, as you said, but that's going to be pretty exciting as you go to we're in Indianapolis. We go to the oval side of things and the biggest race of the season next week.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week. I love the Indy Oval. I just love it. I mean, I'm really happy to win here on the road course. It's all, being from Indiana, it's always really cool when you can win at Indy, road course or oval. I've been pretty snake bitten with getting a proper oval win, though, so I'm not getting my hopes up too high, but I hope to at least run good and be in contention.
You guys got any questions for him before we let him go?
Yes, I got a question for you, Eric.
Uh-oh.
It's your teammate.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
It's a teammate. No, it's nothing too much. I just want to know what, after you spun the first time, what was going through your head? Because as a driver myself, I know how I feel when I make a mistake, but every driver has a different mentality towards things. So what was your mentality after you made that first mistake?
So I spun, and I'm like, man, I wish I didn't do that. I was really kicking myself. But I knew as soon as I spun and I got back on, and I was only like 2 seconds behind Ed, I was like, I got plenty of time. We're not even halfway through the first fuel stint, and I knew I had the pace. So I was like, I pushed a little harder than I wanted to at that point, but it all worked out. And I mean, I didn't let it get to me. I knew I had plenty of time. I knew he was right there in front of me, and I knew I had the pace. So it was just, don't do it again was the big thing.
Well, you did a great job tonight, Eric. As I mentioned, your third win in 5. What 2 days? This was the 5th race of the season. I don't know why I said 4 earlier, but the 5th race of the season, and you got 3 of the wins already this season. So send shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, just shout out to Chris Lewis and the whole team, PI Racing. I mean, we've been putting on a hell of a run here these last few races, and it's
I was
really
getting ready
cool.
to mention. I was getting ready to mention that you guys have you've ran the table, but you're not really pulling away because RaceVerse is right there.
Yeah, it's the team championship's been really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that shapes out at the end of the season. Hopefully, we can come away with it, but it's certainly going to be a close one, I think.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, it's
Well,
definitely.
congrats, man. Congrats.
Yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, it's been a great battle out there on the track. Of course, this last couple weeks, him, Ed Kerstetter, and Isaac most of the time, when Isaac's not turning right over at turn 1. But either way, nice job tonight, Eric. We appreciate you joining us this evening, and we'll see you next week on the Oval. All right, he's already disappeared. He gone.
Yep.
Let's bring in Caleb into the booth here, the Indianapolis winner, who finishes second this evening. Caleb, sometimes the fastest isn't the way to go to get yourself a second-place finish. You were clean, consistent tonight, and a P2 run to help you out in that point battle.
Yeah, it was definitely big for the points. Yeah, I mean, we were kind of in that group at the start. It seemed like a long line, but I know Alex, and I didn't think Dakota was too much, but I could tell that they were pushing pretty hard, and I was just trying to save the rear of the car because I know the Reds, the rears wore pretty quickly. So I was trying to save the rears and just manage manage all tires. So, and eventually they kind of made 2 mistakes and was able to capitalize on that. And yeah, I mean, just pretty solid, consistent race. I feel like didn't really drop a wheel the whole race, didn't really make any big mistakes. So, and obviously it paid off.
Now, one thing I haven't had the opportunity to do, Caleb, with all the issues, the 100,000 issues I've had until this week, is pull up some interesting stats, and I like to do that. And Caleb, I got one for you here. This is your 15th start in this league. You have 15 top 10 finishes.
Yep. Hey, I'll take it.
Talk about
Even
that,
with
though.
that, even with that wreck at Monza.
Even with the Monza flip out,
Wow.
he has 15 top 10 finishes. He has
Way to
this
go,
is
dude.
your 11th top 5 in 15 starts. What is it that allows you to be so consistent and just a strategy that, because obviously it's got to be in your mind that I need to go do this to be successful at this track?
Yeah, I mean, you have to realize that you're not always the fastest person. I mean, I can see Isaac in there. I know him and Ed, and obviously they've got a lot of pace. So for me, it's
You go ahead and answer. I got an answer for you as well, but you go ahead and answer, and I'll tell you what I think after you give yours.
see, I know my limits and I know what I'm comfortable with. So I try to save my tires, just bide my time, not do anything stupid, or not try to go over my head and try to pass someone. I just pushing too hard. So I mean, I just run my own pace and try to keep it on the track, and that's really about it.
That's exactly the point I was going to make, is that you make fewer mistakes. Just an example of today's race. O'Connor, 3 incidents. Kerstetter, 4. Benzine, 1.
And the one was like I skimmed over the grass. I think
It happens.
In 3. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta run to your own pace and not overdo it, and it's definitely paid off quite a few times.
So next week is the 500.
Oh,
Our
no.
version of the 500 to 250.
Close.
Now I got you here is in the entire history of the race, only 5 drivers have won back-to-back. That's Castro Neves is the last one. You got Wilbur Shaw, Maury Rhodes, Bill Vukovich, and Alan Sir Sr. How's your feeling for next week? Can we add you, albeit virtually, to that list? Can we add you? What do you think?
Well, I'm sure hoping so. It's definitely going to come down to track positions. So you never know how that race is going to play out. It could be green flag the whole way or caution fest. I mean, you don't really know. So I'm hoping so. I feel very confident in Indy. But I did one race in the Reddit League a couple weeks ago, which I won, yes. Yeah. Which was obviously it went very well and everything, but I didn't really get a lot of experience in the draft. So I need to get a little more practice, make sure I'm comfortable in a pack, and see if I can.
That was also a 300-mile race. So.
Yes.
A little bit shorter this time around, but I do remember you in control much of that race. But,
so hopefully you can replicate that for sure, because that went very well. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, anything can happen in Indy, but yeah, I think got a decent shot.
Well, I won't bring up any names, but there is a couple people that feel that they didn't see you cross the start-finish line first. So you're going for your first Indy, according to those people. But
we just take a second to look at the information underneath Caleb's name. Season 3 Indy 300 winner. Past Isaac.
I just... who wrote that graphic?
Yeah, who wrote that graphic?
Oh.
Caleb said,
it's that new TI paid for palatial studio producer guy wrote that apparently.
Well, hey,
take him off payroll.
Nice. Well, Caleb said shout out to whoever you want to, bud.
Yeah, obviously I think Matt and RaceVerse, obviously, sticking with me, helping out. Obviously, this is a weird track, and obviously thanks to them for sponsoring. Obviously, wouldn't have been my first pick as a track, but
I don't think it would have been anybody's first pick as a track, other than your boss.
Exactly. But anyways, it worked out. So thanks to him for that.
He picked the track. I was gonna say, you picked the track because you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it worked out. No
there you
complaints.
Go. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, obviously, then Dakota and Sunset Arctic Games. Go check them out on Steam. And then also family business, local in Northeast Ohio, Fawn and Fanny, custom body care and stuff. Check them out online. And yeah, I know some family and friends are watching like usual, so thank you guys again for watching. And yeah, glad to get a second place. I really wasn't expecting anything like that going into this. So
yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, great job, Caleb. Caleb Bensey, second place finisher this evening, as he should. I mean, it's going to be close. Should add on to the point lead here this evening, as we will bring up Ed Kerstetter into the booth with us. Ed, third place run for you. Probably going to be some disappointment there, as of course you and Eric, like you did last week in Mosport, it's like it continued in the United States this time. That battle for 1 and 2. Unfortunately made a little mistake there and had to try to catch Caleb. You still get a third place finish, so we'll look at the positives in the end. But unfortunately, that second place run coulda, shoulda, woulda became third. Talk about your run tonight.
Yeah, first off, congrats to Eric and Caleb for first and second. Yeah, just a mistake. I spun a lot of times learning the track. During practice, I had never spun there coming out of that corner, so that took me for a surprise, because I think I went down to check the delta or check something, and next thing I know, I was like, I am sideways. This is not good. And then I literally struggled to get back on the track. Lost about 20 seconds.
It's always when one looks at one of the black boxes. It's just like every other lap you're fine, and the second you glance at the black box, it's like, I feel for you, because I've been there, and I think it happened to some other races as well.
Yeah, and that's the word. Like, last week's race was great. We both kind of made a little mistake, but it just came down to like both of us going flat out. And I love those races, even if I finished second. So this one's a little more disappointing, because it was just a dumb mistake that I made myself. And but yeah.
Well, it just shows that you're human, like everybody else out there on the track and stuff. But, let's, again, we like to try to find the positives here. And what if I told you this was your 6th career top 5 in 8 career starts?
That's, pretty good. Daytona and, California would be the other two. So, oh, wait, no, we're saying positive.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
That was good start, and just got to get a little more consistent and keep the head in the game a little bit more.
Well, and again, no one's perfect out there, but still to have those kind of stats to start off a career. I mean, that first race was Daytona, and you were one lap away from a top 3 finish in that one. And in Auto Club, that's deleted. We don't have to worry about that one. So,
I know who caused that wreck.
you go to the Oval next week. This will be your first Indianapolis 250 start in the series. What are you looking forward to there?
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot at California. Just kind of big oval pack racing, and Indianapolis sort of adds another layer to it. But I feel like what I learned in California would apply pretty well, and really, I mean, it's Indianapolis, so in the oval, so really looking forward to it.
Well, Ed, you did a great job this evening. Congratulations on your third place run tonight, and shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, I forgot to give a shout out to Britta and Yuli last week, so double shout out this week. And then sponsors, thanks to TI Racing for putting this on, Grublets on Ice, and then RaceVerse, right, would be the sponsor.
Correct.
I actually, when it was Indy Bike, or the MotoGP track or whatever they call it, I was a little concerned because I hadn't raced it before, but it was a blast. So nice night in the end, nice pick. It was cool going to a track where you have basically no data, and I feel like everybody kind of kept their cards close to their chest, not really showing what lap times they had in any of the practice sessions, and kind of coming to race day and laying all the cards on the table. And Eric came out with a flush, so congratulations, congrats to him.
Yeah, speaking of lap times, Ed, your fastest lap of the race was about 16 seconds faster than Isaac. So nice job tonight. Congratulations on that, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Ed Kerstetter there. Sorry, Isaac. Finishing in the third position. He brought up lap times. I mean, it suited perfect at that moment. I'm like, I got to throw that in. But we got the top 3 finishers there this evening in this race. And I see Julian's here for some reason. Julian, what's up, buddy?
Hello.
Don't you got school tomorrow?
At 1 p.m. I still got 10 hours. Plus, I woke up at like 8 p.m. as well, so I'm gonna be awake for plenty.
He's probably loaded with Monster Energy.
Nah, I'm actually out of Monster.
I was gonna say, they have monsters over there?
Yeah, school pretty late tomorrow, so figured I'd just do this race. So yeah.
Well, you did okay. You gained like 150 spots.
Yeah, I mean, I did like 5 or 6 laps of warm-up before this race. I knew this race was going to be a little bit chaotic, or I expected it to be, but when I came into this on lap 1, like everybody was surprisingly cautious, and everybody was just racing each other really clean, and everybody made mistakes, and I made 1 or 2 mistakes too, but overall kept my nose clean. I had one little incident early on in the race. I think it was on lap 4 with Justin Miller. My opinion on that is that it was netcode, and
it was.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Anyway, that was live race control. So.
No, I'm blaming you. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I was just going off the opposite what you were gonna say.
Nah, for it looked like I didn't hit him. So yeah, I mean there was live race control. So if it was actual contact, then I'm sure there would have been a penalty. So I'll take P6. I'm really happy with that, and looking forward to Indy now, the oval race.
All right, well, we'll let you go get ready for school here later today for your sake, and go have fun. We're going to go get off the air, but appreciate you joining us, Julian. Go have fun.
Yep, see ya.
All right, Julian Altena with a little cameo appearance tonight, as I actually am going back, trying to remember the lap exactly it was. I want to say it was lap. You would think I'd write this down, but I didn't tonight. But the spicy overtake of the race.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be the pass for the win when obviously Eric O'Connor went off the track, and Ed took the lead for about 2 laps or so, and Eric O'Connor came back and took the lead in the race and pretty much ran away from that moment of the race. It was right around the halfway point, if I remember correctly. scrolling up to it here. I should be pretty close to it. I'm right at lap 20 right now.
I really like the pass that Eric made going into turn 1 on it. It was a really clean guys that could have gone bad really quick. Skilled drivers there managed to keep it off each other, make it through a couple of corners without banging wheels. I really like that particular. Yeah, just side-by-side racing. It's always good to see the guys can stay off each other.
Yeah, Isaac, so your thoughts obviously here as you get ready for Indianapolis and the oval side of things. What are you looking forward to next week, being somebody who's gotten a lot better on the ovals? And, I mean, I think back to 2 seasons ago, you had a championship pretty much in hand, and it all fell apart at this track.
Well, Indy's like, there's only one thing to do at Indy, and that's win. And if you don't win, what's the point? But yeah, next week, for Ed, Eric, and Caleb's sake, it's gonna be a race where they're gonna have to be cautious, but also go flat out. And with me having a few bad races this season now, I might owe the championship. Like, I've written off the championship completely now. But the preparation is going to be super important for them. They're going to have to really know which tools, which settings to run in the car. The weight jack has got to be perfect. They got to understand how the tires are going to react, and they get a little in dirty air. It's going to be a huge week for these guys. Luckily for Caleb, he's already done some running at Indianapolis, so he's got his foot in the door already. But it's going to be a big learning curve for Eric and Ed, I think. Being quick on the road and then also trying to be quick on the oval is going to be a huge step up. Because in my opinion, anyone can be quick on an oval. There are certain ovals that don't take much skill, and I got a funny feeling, some people will disagree with this, but I think Indy is one of those ovals that doesn't require that much skill. It is more of a case of knowing what to do and when to do it, and I think that these two are going to have to really look into that sort of stuff, like when to pass and all the important stuff for the oval.
Fair points, and obviously that is going to be time to see. But right now we're going to take a look at that right there. There were plenty of great passes on the track, but Ed spun around right there, and that was the pass for the win. So we're actually going to call that the spicy overtake of the races. I could not there was one other pass out there for the lead, but that was the one I found. So we can get off the air and stuff. But the pass by Eric O'Connor on Ed Kerstetter for the lead, that was just after the pit stops, basically. That gave Eric the final lead and allowed him to pull away and run away to a 16-second lead when it's all over with. So that is your Happy Trails chili seasoning mix pass of the spicy overtake, brought to you by Tom Hoover's Happy Trails chili seasoning mix. So make sure you check out that stuff. That is a pretty good mix right there of chili, and definitely up there in Indiana right now, where you got about a foot of snow on the ground, I would say, or close to it. You guys could definitely use some chili up there. So hoping for the best with everybody out there. Isaac, appreciate your time, buddy, coming up here and joining us. Best of luck in Indianapolis.
Yeah, if the race ends early, I'll jump back up again.
Fair enough, because I might need somebody to hang out with, because Gary's running the race also. Gary, looking forward to next week, sir.
I have really been snaked this place. I now know at Indianapolis. One race I finish. Actually, I finished 2 races. One was a pickup race, so I'm not going to count that. The one race I do finish was an official iRacing race, and I won that. Every other race, I've wrecked coming to the checkers. I've been wrecked in a green-white checker situation we shouldn't have had anyway. I was wrecked on lap 10 at Vor by a. I was wrecked at another Vor raceman by someone that controlled their car. I am really looking for redemption. I'm bringing a strong squad. We'll see Oscar Ferguson back. We'll see Diego Perino back. We'll see Maxi Stang back. We'll also see Shane and one of Tyler.
I think he might be snake bitten right now by his microphone.
But I really just want to finish. I just really want to the team that I put together have a run. Right now, only one person can win the Triple Crown. That's Justin. So everyone beat him. Make sure he does the Triple Crown and get one of the NSRP guys in the winner's circle, or at least on the podium at the very least. But I just want to finish. I really am because I feel snake bit in this place, and anything less than the finish will be most disappointing. I don't care if I'm laps down. Anything less than the disappointing.
Well, we wish you the best, Gary, out there on the track next week. And as Isaac said, if you wreck out, come join us.
Yeah, chances are I might be doing it.
Now, I did find that pass real quickly before we go off the air. I did get a chance to go back and look, and I realized it was earlier in the race. But here is that pass we were talking about. We could also put this as the Happy Trails spicy overtake of the race right here, where Eric just drives it down into turn one and literally makes the move here. Finishes off in turn two. So, yeah. So that was the move we were trying to find, but I did find it in the end. So
that was beautiful.
Great move there. So two Happy Trail spicy overtakes of the race in one race. There we go. So, all right, we're going to get out of here before we end up doing a 24-hour marathon or something here. But appreciate Isaac and Gary joining us this evening, of course. You didn't get audio for that lap, but it's okay. But either way, appreciate everybody joining us. Shout out to RaceVerse for sponsoring the Indy Grand Prix. Make sure you check them out, raceverse.com. Their link is down there in the bottom of the screen. Again, check out RaceVerse there. You can get their information. Also, lmcgear.com, of course, the broadcast booth where we're at right now. Of course, the lmcgear.com broadcasting booth. And, of course, shout out to TI Racing. Congrats to that team on winning again this evening. So as we take off this evening, we always leave you with the same thing each and every week. Remember, this is not just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!